The science of safety. At our core, we are survival machines. Even when we're feeling safe and settled, we are always looking for potential danger cues. As we're a social species, two of the cues we respond to most strongly are facial expression and tone. When we're feeling safe, our rest and recovery part of the nervous system is active. This is called the ventral vagal part of our parasympathetic nervous system. When we're in this state, we are most open to co-regulation, problem solving, perspective taking, and trying new things. It's also where we're most readily able to connect to our feelings and where we learn and integrate new information most easily. We feel settled and content when we're in this state. That's why it's represented by the widest part of the pyramid. It gives us the most flexibility and choice in how we respond. It's like being on the main floor of a house where we're all sharing food with friends and playing games. If something happens that moves us to a fight-flight state, which is mediated by the sympathetic nervous system, you can see the pyramid narrows. This is because when we're in fight or flight, we are wired to focus on the potential threat, the metaphorical lion in the room with us. This makes problem solving and perspective taking more difficult. We get stuck tracking the lion and don't really notice the pretty vase in the corner, and would struggle to do algebra or any other complex task in that moment. We also start to limit our facial expressions, being most prone to showing sadness, fear, and anger. This makes sense when we think about it. If our bodies believe in that moment that we're in a life or death situation, that is not the time to be thinking about the lion's hunger, so perspective taking is not helpful. And I want to either scare off my predator by looking angry or beckon other people to my aid by clearly demonstrating sadness or fear. We tend to get triggered to fight or flight by stressors related to our past. Every stressor has a history. If I was attacked by a dog, dogs may be a trigger. If I was assaulted by a man in a position of power, they may be a trigger. And if I learned that having emotions or needs was dangerous or led to disappointment, even acknowledging my own emotions can be a trigger. We also get triggered to fight-flight responses by angry facial expressions, when we don't feel like we can read someone, by loud or unexpected sounds, and when facial expression and tone don't match. For example, if I'm telling you something is really important and non-negotiable, but I'm very tentative and avoiding eye contact when I'm saying it, my verbal and nonverbal cues don't match, so you won't be sure which to respond to in order to stay safe, which is going to move you into a fight-flight state. Being in fight-flight is like being on the second floor of a house where it's uncomfortably hot. You feel agitated and either want to change the temperature or get out of there. If someone were to engage you in that context, you wouldn't be keen. Connection is not the priority in that moment. Next, if I believe escape from the potential threat is unavoidable, I'm likely to go into a freeze response. This is mediated by the dorsal vagal part of the parasympathetic nervous system, causing a shutdown or immobilization response. Imagine a gazelle drinking at a water hole in the African savanna. In the corner of its eye, it notices a lion stalking it. Immediately, it takes off running, flight. The lion catches the gazelle. The gazelle kicks and bites for all its might, fight. But alas, the lion is stronger. Escape seems impossible. At this point, the kindest thing the gazelle can do for itself is not stay present for what's coming next. Freeze is like that. When in freeze, we may detach, dissociate, become lethargic, apathetic. We often don't feel present, have memory difficulties, lose time, operate on autopilot, and even basic thinking tasks like sending a letter or planning what's for dinner can feel overwhelming. The pyramid is narrowest in freeze because our ability to connect with others, problem solve, learn, and even show facial expression is most limited in this state. In fact, people in freeze often lack facial expression, even in the face of normally strongly positive or negative cues, almost like they're wearing a mask. Being in freeze is like being in the attic of the house, where it's cold, the lights are on, the TV is on, but there's nobody there, and the TV is just static. Watch our other videos to learn more about fight, flight, and freeze and how to get yourself back to safety.